Hello, 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 hello. So, something that I want to talk about today is a topic that I have found quite interesting and not very easy to answer, and that is, what is the Mount Rushmore of video games or video game characters, right? I believe characters is the specific thing that they brought up. And I thought that was very interesting because I think it's a very, very difficult question to answer. But I already know I already know one without a shadow of a doubt that would for sure be on the Mount Rushmore. And for me, I'm not talking about favoritism here, like what my favorite characters are, because there's a difference between favorite and like best, right? Like for instance, there's a lot of times people will say like my favorite and the best are the same thing. That is just objectively wrong. So, and I'll give you an example. Like for instance, someone that I was considering in the Mount Rushmore of these, of video games is is Cloud. And I'm not a very big Final Fantasy person, but so for me, like Cloud, like if it was up to me, I'm like, get that motherfucker out of here, dude. I don't give a fuck about Cloud. I think he's a cool character and all, but like, nah, dude. Like if it's what I want to be on that list, it's not fucking Cloud. However, when we're talking about like impact, and being, objective about it, then I do believe that Cloud deserves a spot. Or maybe not deserves a spot, but he's someone that you could argue for having a position in this on this hypothetical list of Mount Rushmore characters, because I do believe that he has that impact or impact similar. But anyways, with that being said, I'm making this to just sort of like think about who I would put on there, the ideas that I've had so far. The moment that I heard about the question, I called my friend Brandon and we were just like talking about it for a bit. And so we kind of came to the conclusion that, that these characters need to have a foundational impact on the world of gaming. It's not enough. Like it can't just just meanings what they did for video games, what they did for the genre, what they did, for the industry, everything like that. What they did was just so incredibly. Why is my frame rate so low? What they did for video games, was revolutionary, so on and so forth, right? So, someone that is for sure on that fucking list is Mario. Just straight the fuck up. There is absolutely no fucking way and no planet where Mario is not on the list of Mount Rushmore. And if, for instance, if you don't like Mario games and you don't fucking put Mario in there, it's capped. You're full of shit. What Mario has done for video games, just for video games. We're not even getting into platforming yet. What Mario has done for video games is legendary. I would say that Mario by himself is like multi Hall of Fame resume. His games have been lauded as some of the best games of all time. some of the best games ever made, and usually their quality, when Nintendo actually decides to try, are just out of this fucking world. So Mario by himself, what he has done for video games, for the industry of video games, is an easy, absolutely, without a fucking doubt. There's no fucking way that Mario isn't on the Mount Rushmore. For me, that is an easy fucking choice to have on that list. The next one, this is someone that my friend Brandon brought up, was Doom Guy. And actually, and that's the thing though, so it's like, if we're talking about characters, do I think that Doom Guy is like as iconic as like a Cloud, as like a Master Chief? I don't know. I don't know. It's so hard for me to give an honest answer, because I didn't really play that much Doom when I was growing up. I had a friend when I was in high school that loved Doom. He was the first person that I heard like build a PC. He built that with his dad, and he played Doom 3. That was more horror theme, I think. And so like a part of me is just like, man, Doom has like been around for so long, and what Doom but that's the thing though. If we're talking about characters, maybe not. But what if we're talking about like games, right? I do think that like Doom or Doom Guy would be on this list, because what Doom did for first-person shooters, it was revolutionary. So I do think that is something that needs to be taken into account. And I don't know if anyone, like, I don't know, like, and that's the thing, like, the more I think about it, is like, okay, so is it just, if it's video games and Mario games, right? But then it's just like, but if we're talking about characters, I don't know if, in my personal opinion, Doom Guy would be considered more iconic for Master Chief, but then when we're thinking about what Doom did for gaming, the industry, first-person shooters, arena shooters like Quake, you know, what was the other one? Duke Nukem and all of that shit. There's Quake and there's something else. Unreal Tournament, right? All of this shit. So, like, fuck. It's so, it's hard for me to not be able to acknowledge that I think that Doom, absolutely deserves that spot. Another thing that Brandon and I talked about is about putting a time frame, maybe not a time frame, but like a generation of when, you know, after that, you know, you're not considered, because again, we're thinking about foundational things. But then I thought of something, and I don't know if I can agree with that now, because at first we were thinking about, like, you know, anything past PS1, you know, is like, because like to me, like PlayStation 2 era and above, to me, that's when you saw video games being perfected, right? That's when we started seeing really fucking good graphics that even today hold up pretty well, right? We're talking about like the original Xbox, PS2, and I believe GameCube, right? We started seeing, you know, games like Wind Waker, Twilight Princess, Uncharted, God of War, right? Prince of Persia, all of these games that were, damn, now that I think about it, like Prince of Persia is pretty, no, but it's either Prince of Persia or Mario, and if that's the case, Mario is just gonna shit on the Prince. No disrespect to the guy, but I mean, let's keep it real. But with that being said, the reason I have an issue with whatchamacallit, putting like basically like a stamp saying like, okay, we're not gonna do that, or I'm sorry, we're not gonna go past PS1, is because, well, I mean, I just started playing Minecraft, right? And so I'm not saying like, and I've been loving it, right? But I was reading comments, and some people were saying like Steve, and it's just like Steve the character. I mean, whatever. I don't know if Steve the character is in that stratosphere of a cloud. What the fuck? Of a cloud, of a Kratos, but I think Minecraft is. Just straight up. Like, what Minecraft did for, these sort of like, I want to say almost pixel art, right? Because, like, I mean, I've never, like, when Minecraft first came out, I remember thinking to myself, man, this game looks kind of stupid. Right? And it wasn't that the game was bad, it was just that I didn't really like the look of Minecraft, right? Like, I'd never felt like to me, the blocky shit was always, like, really ugly and just kind of, like, lame. And the reason that I started playing this is because I saw all these mods that give this world what I think is, like, that pop, that uniqueness of just being, okay, like, no, this is something actually kind of special here, visually, right? For a world that looks simplistic, yet it is not, right? And again, I'm not saying that the world of Minecraft is simplistic, with no mods, but for a dumb fuck like me, I personally needed something like that for me to want to be interested in this game, right? But with that being said, though, I do think that Minecraft and what it did for indie games, the gaming world, for genres like building, like, it brought up Terraria and, other like these voxel games that are fucking coming out now and whatnot. And it's just like, shit, dude, like, I think that a game like Minecraft absolutely has to be an exception to that generational sort of like period that me and Brandon talked about. Because while, like, for instance, if we're thinking of what revolutionized FPS games, it was like originally Doom, right? But then after that, we had what Master Chief and Halo and what they did for FPS games on console, right? So that's the legendary aspect of Halo, right? It made the home console, the console FPS experience S tier, and then we started getting, the really, really fucking good FPS games. We got Halo, we got Metroid Prime, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1, 2, right, Black Ops. I think Metroid Prime 2 was incredible. I know a lot of people don't like it. I think it's fucking badass. I think it's like an incredible fucking game. But, not everyone would agree with me on that, which is fine. But I do think that, Xbox, GameCube, we were still playing things like, for me, everything was just being perfected at that time. We got Wind Waker, which in my opinion is one of my favorite Zelda fucking games ever. I love Wind Waker. I would consider Wind Waker to be my second favorite Zelda game after Majora's Mask. And Majora's Mask to me is just the best Zelda game that I've ever played. I know a lot of people, I love Ocarina of Time, but I think Majora's Mask is a better game. It is a better game with a better use of what it had. Like every, I'm not gonna get into that. We're not talking about Majora's Mask. But anyways, so Mount Rushmore. We were talking about Steve and how Minecraft should definitely be an exception to this rule of it not being limited to something like you know, up to PS1, you know, and the more, and you know, again, I think about it, and it makes sense to an extent, because after that, as I said, we are just perfecting what has already been made. With, you know, we had Halo, and then Halo 2, and then Halo, you know, took inspiration from Doom and Unreal Tournament and what have you. So, so in that regard, and that's the thing though, it's just like, to say that Halo, you know, isn't, you know, Halo 1, 2, 3, and Reach, for me, I think Halo 1, 2, 3, and Reach are just incredible. Reach is, for me, has one of the best FPS campaigns I've ever fucking played in a video game. I fucking love Halo Reach's campaign. Anyways, so to say that a game, you know, other games and franchises shouldn't be there after the PS1, I think that there's some sense to it, but I also think that there are games that, again, like a Minecraft, that break that, and that are so good and so impactful and generational that they shouldn't be omitted. So Minecraft for me is definitely is a contender for something that should be on the Mount Rushmore of video games. Another character and franchise I would put is so let's recap real quick. So for me, as I said, I think for sure that Mario is on that list. That's the only one that I can say with conviction, with true conviction of what and what that represents. So yeah, Mario to me is definitely a character that absolutely is an easy plug-in for the Mount Rushmore of video games, and characters, right? Brandon brought up a good point when he said that, you know, should an orc, you know, or like a little villager be put in there for StarCraft, right? Because, I'm sorry, not StarCraft, for Warcraft, because Warcraft kind of painted the way for RTS games, and, you know, a lot of these computer games of that time, and it kind of created a blueprint for what would end up being, you know, Diablo and StarCraft and all that shit. So, you know, through Warcraft, the original, we got a game that not only was revolutionary, but at the same time, you know, it also brought us World of Warcraft, which I think it also is, to omit that, but I think would be a little on the crazy side. And I think that the way that you would be able to include World of Warcraft is by having like a little orc, you know, in there for representing the original Warcraft and what came from Warcraft, being, you know, ARPGs and RTS games, and then the MMO, right? So that is definitely a consideration, having the little orc guy in there, because I don't know what other character I would put in there for Warcraft, and I haven't played Warcraft in an eternity, so I don't remember any of the characters or any of the stories. But anyways, so again, let's do a recap. Mario is for sure on the list. We have a possibility for Doom guy representing FPS games and how, you know, Doom revolutionized FPS games and the genre of FPS games on computers, like Unreal Tournament, Quake, arena shooters, the spawn of Halo, and so on. Minecraft / Steve, right? What they've done with this kind of like build cube pixel indie, like, you know, like indie games, because like to me, like these little I don't want to say that like Minecraft is like what created the indie game, because I remember playing little games like this during like the Xbox Summer of Arcade back on the 360, where they had like, you know, all these games like Geometry Wars and Galaxy Aces of the Galaxy, and there was this game where you were like a troll frog thing, and it was like kind of like a shitty 2D spin around platformer. It like you used your tongue to like loop and get points and shit. It was a weird game. I remember liking it though. But anyways, but to me, the reason I say what it did for indie games was because to me Minecraft was the first indie game that I really saw just explode to a degree that, I mean, we had never really seen before. Like, why is this game being, like, I would look at it and I'm just like, I don't get it. Like, this game is trash, man. Like, it looks dumb, I don't really care for it, and yet it just continues to withstand the test of time. And to the point where, you know, after all this time, I am now playing it because we have these fucking incredible, you know, god tier modders that are making the game infinitely replayable. I mean, look at this. Look at this world, bro. You know, look at this water. Look at little Quackoid. It's beautiful. It's absolutely fucking beautiful. And yeah, no, it's like, it's just it's impressive, you know, to see this. So Minecraft is definitely on there. The little orc from Warcraft, as I said, for the RTS, the ARPGs, and the MMOs that came after it, is definitely a contender as well. And as much as I don't really give a fuck about Final Fantasy, I do think that Cloud needs to be on there. And if it's not going to be Cloud, it's got to be Pikachu for Pokemon, for the RPGs and the games that came after it. However, the argument that one can make for Cloud and the difference between Cloud and Pikachu is what they represent. So for instance, you know, yes, Pokemon is a turn-based fucking RPG, and so is Final Fantasy VII, but that is about where the similarities end. Because when it comes to story, And writing, I mean, let's keep it a buck. Pokemon's trash. So when we're talking about like storytelling and being a vessel for storytelling, I'm gonna say that Pokemon is just fucking feces. In that regard, and the sad thing is that like Pokemon has such a rich and interesting universe that you could make really cool shit. But you know, again, this is one of those things where it's just like Nintendo doesn't want to try. So, because when Nintendo wants to try, it does incredible shit. It does the best shit. So, so it sucks. It sucks that that is where like Pokemon lies, because it has the potential to be, in my opinion, like a goated. Like, I mean, and that's the thing, it is, but like it has the chance to be something not just midish to good. It could be something along the lines of impact for Final Fantasy 7 and 10, Elden Ring. So, but anyways, back to it. Right. So, I do think that Pikachu, if we're going to use a character from Pokemon, is definitely a strong contender for the RPG slot. But I also think that Cloud and what Final Fantasy as a whole did for RPGs could definitely be argued as being even more so, even way more impactful than anything that Pokemon did. So there's that. So again, Doom Guy, Steve, Orc from StarCraft, fuck, I'm stupid. Doom Guy, Orc, Steve, Cloud, Pikachu. You know, these are the 5 that I'm thinking of. And Mario is the only one that I can be like, okay, for sure. Another consideration could be a very, very good consideration could be fucking Ryu and Street Fighter. What Street Fighter has done for fighting games can also not be understated and undersold. So I think that Ryu is probably my second strongest contender. Like, where I'm just like, damn, I think that Ryu could definitely be on there as something that you look at it and you're like, okay, that makes sense. Ryu, Street Fighter, what Street Fighter did for fucking, for video games, for arcade games specifically, the popularity of arcade games, for competitive fighting games as well, what Street Fighter has done for that. And Ryu's iconic. His design has withstood the test of time as well, and he's a badass. So, it's funny too, because I think about characters like Link and Kratos, and I'm just like, fuck, man. Like, I want to have them on there, but it's to be perfectly honest, if you were to ask me who would you put on a Mount Rushmore between Link and Kratos, as much as I love Kratos, I think Link goes on there because of what Zelda did for that genre and has done for that genre before Kratos was even a thing. I mean, before Kratos was even a thing, we had fucking A Link to the Past. I know that there are other Zelda games beforehand, right? But like, for a lot of people would consider that to be like A Link to the Past. I think a lot of people consider that like the perfected like top-down sort of Zelda experience, right? Or action adventure experience. And then we got like Ocarina of Time, which to me, what Ocarina of Time did, I don't even think can be undersold. Like, if we were talking about greatest video games of all time, Ocarina of Time is top 3 easily. And if not top 3, definitely top 5. There's no fucking way. Like, if you don't have Ocarina of Time in your top 5 as, like, greatest video games of all time, for what that game has done for video games, the industry, like, action-adventure games, like, mechanics that were created in Ocarina of Time are used to this day. So, but anyways, we're not talking about individual games. We're talking about the franchises, and then being on the Mount Rushmore of those franchises of video games. So again, if we were having that conversation of like Link versus Kratos, I think Link is for sure just the choice in that specific. Link, like Zelda, has done so much for video games and everything. So, but I don't know if the action adventure game, I mean, shit, I could be wrong, because like at first I was just like, isn't Mario enough? Like, I don't think so, right? Because like, it's not like Mario and Donkey Kong that are, these platformers that can kind of be interchangeable. And, what am I hearing? And, something like Pokemon, like Pikachu and Cloud, right? It's not those... You can't interchange them. In like as cleanly. I'm not gonna say as easily, because I don't think that it's an easy thing to do, but definitely it is a cleaner sort of like, okay, I see where you're coming from when you do a Pikachu or Cloud, right? RPGs, turn-based, games are somewhat similar, sure. But if we're talking about action-adventure games like A Link to the Past, with combat and exploration, with dungeons, I definitely think that Zelda and Link are a consideration for that, and for what they've done. Where are you? So, Mount Rushmore. Nice, bro. Right, so we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 spaces. Mario, for sure. 100%. Mario. And then what are our considerations again? We got Doom Guy / Doom for the FPS genre and revolution of said genre. After Doom Guy, we also have Steve slash Minecraft for the building slash pixel art slash indie game space. We also have Ryu slash Street Fighter for the fighting game, arcade games, competitive. Am I spelling this shit right? What do I feel like? I don't know. Like, why the fuck? I just. It's completely just eluded me right now. Okay, no, that's right. Why did that look wrong? Arcade game, comp. For fighting games, arcade games, and icon. And it's iconic as well. Yeah, we can just do that. We have Orc slash Goblin for Warcraft. For the RTS space. ARPG Birth. MMOs like WoW. Cloud slash Final Fantasy. For the RPG space. Genre. Storytelling. And quality. I think I like that better. Quality. Storytelling. Then we have Pikachu slash Pokemon for the RPG. So, but I think that Cloud and Pikachu are kind of interchangeable, so. And Link for sure. A Link slash Zelda for the action adventure game. For what they, what for video games and the industry. And it's stood the test of time. Okay. So we have of course I can't do that. So we have Mario on number 1, Doom Guy, Steve slash Minecraft, Ryu from Street Fighter, or Goblin from Warcraft, Cloud, RPG, Pikachu RPG, and Link for the action-adventure genre. I think that's where we're at right now. I don't really... if something else were to be considered... I don't even know what that would be, to be honest. And I don't know, if some fucker were to say Hollow Knight, listen, I love Hollow Knight, but no. If we're gonna use that space, it's fucking Metroid. And Just shut up. That's an easy answer. If we're talking about like Metroidvanias, again, it's called a Metroidvania, not a Hollow Knight-vania. So get out of my face with that. But no cap, I do think that Hollow Knight is the best, if not one of the best fucking Metroidvania games that has ever been produced, without a shadow of a doubt. I kind of want to throw in a nod for like racing games, but it's so hard. There's just not a character that I would find that is synonymous for racing games. And to be honest, I don't want to give that to fucking Captain Falcon because I don't think he deserves it. As much as I love anti-gravity racing games like fucking Redout and Ballistics NG and fucking F-Zero and XF Extreme Formula, which I fucking adore, mind you, I don't think that Captain Falcon deserves that at all. I think F-Zero games have been great, but when we're talking about like the greatest of all time and something like that, I'll keep it real. I think it would be a game like it would be like Need for Speed or some shit like that I would consider putting on there as something that I would consider being on the Mount Rushmore of video games. And I like Captain Falcon, but you know, we gotta keep it a stack. And I'm trying to think. I'm trying to also think of like games that are more modern that could make that exception list. I want to say Dark Souls because I fucking number one, I adore Dark Souls, but at the same time I feel like, okay, you know, if Dark Souls is at its core an action adventure game with RPG elements, so to me it's just like if I want to choose between Dark Souls and Zelda and Link, it's gonna be fucking Link and Zelda. That just makes it just makes more sense to me. By the way, I've always thought, wouldn't it be really fucking cool to have like a Zelda game that, like if FromSoft made like a Zelda game that was dark, gritty and shit, and you know, Link looked all fucking cool, and you can kind of customize him and shit a little bit more. That would be awesome. I salivate at the thought of that. Like with an Elden Ring-like world. Oh, imagine a Hyrule castle in the vein of like Anor Londo or Irithyll, which is Anor Londo basically. I can't remember the name of the fucking dragon capital in Elden Ring. Oh, dude, it's a temple. Imagine what a temple would look like. Oh man, that sounds absolutely fucking incredible. Oh. But I don't really know of what other characters that I would throw on there. I want to give like mentions to like I don't know the name of the guy, but I think it's Gordon something from Half-Life. You know, him, Master Chief for sure. Soap from fucking Modern Warfare. I don't know if I wouldn't say that. I'm full of shit. I don't think that Soap is on the level of fucking Master Chief or fucking that Gordon guy or Doom guy. But I do believe that he deserves an honorable mention because he's part of Modern Warfare and he was fucking cool in that game. What kind of Muppet's name is Soap? Yes. That was such a good game. Heh. Man. We never know how good we have it until it's no longer around, man. It's crazy. Like, video games are just being made so... with so, like, in such a shitty way nowadays. But... yeah, I really don't know what that Mount Rushmore would be, and I don't want to be too hasty with it, because I think that carefully considering what video games have come, what they've done, is important, especially for something like that, for a Mount Rushmore video, if we're talking about that. In all honesty, I think that it would be way easier to make like a Mount Rushmore of like singers, because then, like, you know, you just throw in fucking Michael Jackson and fucking Prince, and that's two of them right there. You're halfway there. And I would say that Michael Jackson and Prince would be probably on most people's lists for something like that, just because of the impact that they both had. I mean, they were goats. But yeah, no, I can't really think of any other series or because like if you go back in time, in all honesty, I also want to give a shout out to Tetris, because I also don't think that the landscape of video games would be as popular if it wasn't for Tetris. So Tetris, I think, is like, for sure needs a shout out. But where we left it off, I think I think these are extremely strong contenders. Link, Pikachu, Cloud, Orc, Goblin. Maybe that's why it wouldn't be on here, because, you know, if you put an Orc on there, it's like, who the fuck is that, right? And you need a character. Like, for instance, if I were to put a blocky head, at least people, oh, that's Steve, right? Doom Guy, Pikachu for sure, Link for sure, Mario for sure, you know? So maybe that is why this isn't on here, right? Like, if we're talking about games, I don't know. I think that Diablo 2, like, if we're talking about games, Diablo 2 and World of Warcraft are high up on a list. But Mount Rushmore, fuck, man, I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that would be for. Oh, this cheat engine that I have here is for Ghost Recon Breakpoint. For what is it? Spartan, the Spartan mod. If you, I know that not everybody wants to do something like that, but for me, this, yeah, Oh, that's right. I didn't even fucking in order for you guys to see this, I need to have ghost. Right? Isn't it like that? Hold on. Let me see. Where is it? If you guys haven't played, I mean, I know not everybody's into this kind of shit, but I really like this game modded is an absolute fucking joy. The sound effects, the things that you can use, and the guns that you can add, the difficulty. Oh, dude, it's so much fun. It's so much fun. I really, really fucking. I mean, I have 107 hours on it. I've thoroughly fucking enjoyed everything that I've played in this game. Modded, of course. So. I also added mods to Dragon's Dogma. I'm so happy for whatever it is that they're gonna do with Dark Arisen. I can't wait to play that. I bought this and I barely played this. I only played 10 hours. I'm trying to do what I'm doing in Minecraft, where I'm trying not to see anything, but somehow fucking Zero Sievert has come out of nowhere and absolutely just been an obscene amount of fun. Surrounded is also great. But I was looking, I don't know if, I know I'm going off topic here, but I've been looking for a game that I don't know if it exists. And I was playing Stalker, the Gamma, and the Gamma or Anomaly mod or whatever. And that's been fun. Unfortunately, I know so I have a a 1 gig NVMe SSD, and a friend of mine, when I was building my PC, told me that you shouldn't put that. What he recommended was that I have I have a 500 gigabyte NVMe SSD, and I specifically got the 500 megabyte one because my friend was telling me that you should have an NVMe SSD that is dedicated for your machine, right? So it stays snappy and it doesn't have a lot of bullshit clogging it up. But I bring that up is because this one. So I have Monster Hunter Wilds on where the fuck are you? Monster Hunter Wilds on my NVMe SSD. And I don't really like having anything on there. I did it because I just wanted this game to run better. And by the way, when a lot of people were talking about the issues that they were having regarding Monster Hunter Wilds, I am almost, and I could be wrong, but I think because when I was playing this, and I do have a really good computer so maybe I'm completely full of shit. But a lot of the problems that I think people were having was because they weren't on an NVMe SSD. And I think that if you're forcing people to be on an NVMe SSD, that's also kind of shitty. Because it it fucks up the fucking gaming experience. Because I didn't have many issues, if any, on PC. A lot of the things that people were talking about wasn't really an issue. But anyways, going back to the SSD, I stopped playing this, not because I wasn't enjoying it, it's just the load times were absolutely fucking insane. And so what I'm going to be doing is buying myself a 2 terabyte NVMe SSD. I'm going to install this motherfucker on it, and then I'm going to fucking install this motherfucker on it, because I was supposed to play this with my friend Brandon. Well, he stopped playing it, so, but I need to fucking... This for sure requires an NVMe SSD drive. So that's going to go on there as well. And I mean, those are, at least for me, those are the only 2 games that I can think of that for sure need one. Oh, this fucking game. This game, if you don't have this on an NVMe SSD, the load times are absolutely brutal. and it's not even funny, which is crazy because I've like Cyberpunk 2077. This game runs beautifully, fucking beautifully, and no offense to this game, even though it's not that great, but still, this game looks better. And for this to require something like that, yeah, motherfuckers, you gotta get on top of your shit. This Call of Duty is one of my favorite Call of Duty campaigns. I adore this fucking campaign. It is probably one of my favorite Call of Duty campaigns ever. And I'm not joking. I mean, it's what's on here. I adore this fucking game's campaign. It's so fucking good. Ball Pit is dope. It is a fun little game. Absolutely fucking S tier. This is a really fun game for Steam Deck. I love this game on Steam Deck. Crosscodes is incredible. I really enjoyed this game. Oh, this is a really cool, like, kind of like side-scrolling shoot 'em up. I had a hard time getting into this game. Eastward was, it was special. Very, very special. And, you know, Hollow Knight and Silksong. I think, I don't know how many times I've played this game. I think I've beaten it and played it at least 8 times. I played Silksong, and I was going to do another playthrough, but I'm just like, you know what, fuck it. I'm going to just wait. And the thing is that, like, if people are telling you to buy Silksong, do not rush. Do not rush to play this game. The longer you wait to play this game, the better it will be, because it's going to have better support and it's going to have more content. So don't fucking worry about it. Do not worry about it. Is it good? Oh, it's incredible. I love it. But I'm telling you, if you don't have the money for it, if you don't want to play it right now, it's okay. Because whenever you do decide to play it, it's going to be better. I'm telling you, the more you wait, the better this game will be. So, 9 Souls was one of my favorite fucking games I've played in a very, very, very fucking long time. And I also adore Project Zomboid. Fucking the Stable 42 came out. I'm looking forward to playing that. I love this game. I'm not really into zombie games, but I absolutely adore this game. It's so fucking good. Anyways, I went off topic. And I'm done. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. Mount Rushmore. Yeah, whatever.